Welcome to the Full Tactical Range by Range Systems. I'm Beau Doboszenski, and this is your drill of the week. This week's drill of the week, we're going to work a low light drill. And the low light drill is going to be working what we call a backlit target. What we mean by a backlit target is it looks something like this. So you can see this is where I am, that there's an outline of my body, but it's really hard to see what's happening with my face or with my hands. And it's difficult now to identify whether or not I'm posing a lethal threat to your safety. In order to tell whether or not I pose a lethal threat to your safety, you're going to need some kind of a light source to light me up and take a look. Most citizen defenders will carry around some kind of portable light source like this handheld tactical flashlight. With a device like this, we need to be able to know how to use it depending upon the light situation that we have. In this case, as I mentioned, we're having a backlit target. This is where the light source that's natural to the environment is behind the target or the threat. To identify the target or the threat, I have to use my tac light to light the threat up so that I can clearly identify that they're a threat to my safety and then start to engage them. The one thing you did notice though is that when I was in that darkness, the shadows, you could clearly see the outline of my body. In essence, what we're really seeing is just like we see over here on my target, we have a silhouette of a human being. That silhouette of a human being is engaged the exact same way that we would do a normal engagement, which is my firearm would be produced and I would use the night sights in the firearm to identify the target and engage it using the night sights. When we do that though, what we've done is we've generated light, in essence, giving away our position. One of the things that we don't want to do is to give away our position and then stay in the same spot, because if for some reason we start to get return fire back at us, they have at least a general idea of where we're located in relationship to them. So what we have to work on is something that we call a low light tactical follow through. The low light tactical follow through runs through the principle of light on, light off, move. Here's how it works. So from the moment that I've identified, yep, that's a threat to my safety, I have to engage. I'm going to produce my defensive firearm, utilize my night sights, and engage that backlit target. From there, once I've done my reset, I'm going to move off of the initial line of where it is that I attacked or counterattacked or defended myself from the threat. At this point, I'm not exactly sure what's happened with the threat downrange. I need to be able to see it clearly. So thanks to my handy dandy ring and my tactical flashlight, I'm just simply going to reacquire it and turn it back on to give it a check. Once I've assessed that that thing is no longer a threat to my safety, but I had the light on, I have to move again. So once again now, I've moved off of the last line of attack. But I still don't know what's going on around me or beside me. I could have another threat coming in from the 90 or even coming in from my 6. It means I have to check there too. So from that pulled back defensive retention position, I'm now going to conduct a 360-degree check. Target, shoulder, back to center. But once again, same principle applies. Light on, light off, move. Now you may move in back and forth positions. You may be moving to positions of cover or tactical superiority. You may continue to flank your target. You may move away from the target. There's lots of different directions that you could go. The big total gist of this is that every time the light goes on and the light goes off, I'm going to move from the position that I was in. So we're going to go ahead and do this drill two ways. We're going to do it one way utilizing my tactical flashlight that would be handheld tactical light that a lot of defenders would carry. The other way that we're going to do it is we're going to do it with a weapon mounted light. Now when I do this, because I exist in a training range, I'm not going to engage in the 360-degree check because downrange is an area that we don't direct our muzzles to. Now this is actually a really serious problem for defenders, that we start to develop this linear range training scar where we're trained that I can't go past the safety cones or the safety poles on my range, the backstop. Well, again, our world isn't flat. It's 360 degrees and elevated 45 to either direction, dynamic. And we need to practice that way. The way to do that is to do it dry fire. So make sure if you're running a weapon mounted light, you're practicing this skill a lot in dry fire. Practicing low light defensive skills is very important for citizen defenders to do. The reason being is that a large portion of our defensive encounters will occur in low light environments. That being the case, we need to be very familiar with the tools and the techniques necessary to be able to defend ourselves and own the darkness. If you don't have a proper defensive flashlight that's set up effectively so that you can get to your hands if you need it and get the flashlight out of the way without having to put it in your pocket or set it down, I'd encourage you to go find a setup that will work for you to do this. If you're using a weapon mounted light, you need to do a lot of dry fire practice, because remember, you're probably not doing that 360 check with the weapon light on your local range. And so doing the dry fire will help you to break down the linear range training scar of keeping that firearm directed towards the backstop the entire time. But doing this skill dry and taking your time is really valuable, because you will eventually become capable of doing this when it counts. So work this drill, take your time, go slow, maintain proper muzzle and trigger finger awareness, and we'll see you in the next drill of the week. Like what you saw? Subscribe to my YouTube channel and keep checking out the training blog for more tips and drills.